have a cigar in your backpack.
We're supposed to wear hats too.
Yeah.
We're now open for questions. Kenny, now
All
that
right.
you've had, I guess it's a little bit of time to digest just the first game. Anything that stood out to you differently from what you told us last night?
No, not really. They outplayed us. More force, energy, and focus than us. So you could kind of move that, kind of reverse it. We didn't have the force, energy, or focus. And it really, Serena, just out of character for us. I was really kind of surprised looking at the film because it didn't resemble the team that I've seen all year. So, not, of course, as a coaching staff, we got to what's the why to that, and how do we turn that around? Hopefully, we addressed that in film today and walked through. I think the guys, got the message, and our guys have always responded.
What most needs to change for you guys defensively?
Force, energy, focus. I just use those three things. There's maybe there's some tweaks, some coverage tweaks, but man, just simple things like sprinting back, winning the first kind of stuff we've talked about, ball pressure, communication. There's a lot of things that go into it. Sometimes you just got to go back, kind of like to your fundamentals, and that's always a fear, right? You do this elaborate game plan, and it comes down to like the force, how much force you play, how much energy you play with, and what was the focus like, just sometimes being in a simple shell position. I don't know, we weren't, strangely not locked in on both ends, because I think the poor offense led to poor defense. They were kind of connected. This game's connected.
What do you use to measure contested shots, and where did you guys
Yeah,
on that?
I'm not going to tell you, Chris. Everyone's got their ways, and it wasn't below standards.
It
Kind of,
was not below
it was below
Oh.
standard. Yeah, below.
This idea that shooting evens out over the long haul, how does that apply over a shorter,
Yeah, no, and I'm not buying into that, like, because I watched the film, and there's no one more pro analytics than me, and I think we all know what the analytics said, and it was extreme, right? But that's not what I saw in film. I saw one team that was more aggressive, one team that was more focused, one team that made the other team uncomfortable. It's just that's the reality. I try to look at the analytics, to look at expected score and definitely look at it. It tempers you a little bit, but not this game. I'm not.
Do you give any credence to the fact that they came off a series that was a lot more challenging than you had?
Yeah, it's funny, Jared. I thought that just because it was the Miami Heat and Miami was fit. The first two games with Miami were nip and tuck a little bit. So I felt like we were challenged, and then we're focused to like kind of stamp that series out. So that's why this is a little bit surprising. That I thought we're on this, we're just going to come out with the same focus and all those kind of aggressiveness, all that stuff, and for some reason we didn't, and it's at the end of the day it's credit to Indiana, because they took it to us, quite honestly, in every sense.
You mentioned last night that you felt like the offense let you guys down, and mentioned their otherworldly shot making. After going back and watching the film, do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I think our offense let us down. Spacing issues, screening issues. We didn't arrive alone. We would like to use that term. You have to arrive alone to get space and to make a play. And arrive alone, it means getting an advantage, and we didn't create advantages. And there's so many. There's just simple things like our spacing and transition. Like, I don't know how many clips we had today where we had like 5 guys in a line. Like, this is not good spacing, right? When you got 5 guys clumped, and again, I don't know if they hit us, and we kind of like lost the focus there, but it was kind of right off the bat, and I don't. Do we rely on our talent sometimes too much? You know, you guys can just conjecture with all that. I would just say, my experience, it was out of character, and it's funny. It reminded me a little bit of the first time we played Indiana in January, right? And they kind of took us to it here, and we went there and kind of took it to them. So we got to change before we change coverages, before we make adjustments. We got to change our focus and our energy and our aggressiveness. That's the simple story to that game last night, in my opinion.
I know I asked you about Donovan's shot selection last night, taking 30 and Ty taking 20.
Yeah,
How do you feel
that was part of it. That was part of it. Yeah, part of. I mean, showed a couple clips there where Don scored, and it was like, man, that's making it hard on yourself and us. Just, you know, and he's been phenomenal. And you know, it's hard for him because he's got, you know, Darius is out. Shoot, I got to do more, and we need him to do more. And what is that? What is that balance? And did he tilt way too far? No, but was it a little too much? Even Ty, I mean, Ty's a heck of a passer, right? We you know, it's kind of the way, you know, we've had great success offensively. But again, I think those guys felt like, hey man, we got to pick up the slack, and we got to pick up the slack as a group. You know, so that was something we addressed today.
How did DeAndre, Donovan, and Evan come out of the game last night with injuries?
So let me address that because there's some context around that, and I just want to kind of the lead up to this is kind of all what I said. I mean, Indiana deserved that. They're a more physical team. I will say there were 2 plays in that game that, how should I say, and again, utmost respect for Indiana and Rick and how they coach, and I don't think they were dirty plays, but I think it passed the line of physicality. That line we've kind of been talking about, you know, where it became excessive. So number one was the non-call on DeAndre's layup, which I don't know. Everyone in the world just look at that play and they reviewed it, and I'm just like in shock. I don't know, and I guess I got to know the rules better. So maybe I don't know the rules. I felt he got absolutely obliterated and dislocated his thumb, so he'll be questionable. And then Evan, around the same time, I can't remember if it's before or after, Evan Turner contests his 2-point shot, comes under, clearly under him, right? And shooters need space to land, and is pushed off balance in kind of our opinion, and tweaks his ankle pretty bad. I think you guys saw him limping the rest of the game, you know, when there was a big push to get him out. He wanted to stay in. He'll be questionable. And, you know, these aren't drummed up. This is, you know, so unfortunate for us. And again, I don't think this is on Indiana. I have so much respect for how they play. They're hard playing dudes. Miles Turner's hard playing dude. But the fact of the matter, I think that's on the referees, and if the calls, you know, maybe they were missed calls, or maybe I'm misinterpreting the rules. But I have a problem when we got, you know, 2 of our best players, you know, doubtful for tomorrow's game. Just I don't. It's hard for me to get my head around that and there were no calls on either one. So. And you know, I haven't talked about referees all year, and I think the referees in this league are phenomenal, and they do a great job. And that was a darn good crew last night. Ton of respect for those guys, but for some reason, you know, it bothers me that we're dealing with this. It shouldn't, at least there should be some, repercussions in terms of making the call.
DeAndre right or left thumb?
Can you just clarify, you use both doubtful and questionable?
Yeah, I don't know. Are they in the same? That's semantics, right? Questionable is questionable. Whatever. Let's put it in that. To me, in my world, doubtful, questionable are in the same. Live in the same world. So maybe I should use the official NBA kind of thing, which is.
But you don't feel confident that they will be able to play?
I'm not gonna expand on it. Obviously a real concern, towards.
I just wanted to ask about Darius as well. Was he able to take the floor at all?
He went through. We just did shoot around today, so it was tough. Tough to really gauge kind of where he is. So yeah, he'll be questionable too for tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody.
Right or left thumb?
Right, shooting thumb.